Okay, so for this assignment, you're going to download these two files that are on your Schoology assignment. This is the first one. It should have clouds and a plane on it. And then the second one is a road and there's a car there. Okay. The first thing that you want to do is come over here and click on show frame. You want to make sure that you can see the entire frame because a lot of times it zooms in like this one. So again, show frame so you can see the entire screen. So this one is bigger. This is the full HD 1920 by 1080 and this one is just regular HD, just in case you're wondering. The background is locked, and then the plane you're able to move. The path is where you're going to create something. So go ahead and move your object off of the background for now, so out of the stage. And then you want to come to your path layer and select that first frame. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw a path that we want our plane to follow. Okay, so kind of like when we did our guide with the bouncing ball, except this time we're going to kind of sync our plane with the path, and then we don't have to animate frame by frame, if that makes sense. So you can do this using the pen tool, which is this one, or the pencil tool. Okay, I'm going to use the pencil tool for this one, and then I'm going to show you the pen tool on this one. Okay, so with the pencil tool, and you want to start probably somewhere outside of the screen, the stage. So maybe the plane is going to come, and you can make it, oh, that's what you don't want to happen. If that happens, you need to start over. If you want, you could also use a drawing tablet for this, but you just kind of want it to be in one continuous loop. Now that might mess things up, but we'll see. If it does, you can always come back to the layer, delete it, and start over. Okay, so here we have the plane. What we're going to do is we're going to first turn this path into a guide. So right click, guide. Then we're going to click on this plane layer and we're going to move it up to right here when it shows this little dot, not up here, right here. And that in this little arc should happen. That means the plane is connected to our path. So then on our plane layer, we are going to grab our plane and we want to connect it. You see this dot right here that shows up when I start moving it around. That's what we want to sync with our plane. So wherever you click is where that dot might show up. So right now I have it right here. Maybe you want it a little bit different right there. Okay. And since it's going up, I'm going to go ahead and use my rotate. And I'm going to rotate it so that it's facing the way my line faces. Now you just have to decide about what frame you want it to stop. I think I'm going to try 60. So I'm going to insert a keyframe on all of these. So I'm holding down the shift key, selecting these three, insert a keyframe. Okay, I'm getting my plane layer. I'm going to grab my selection tool and move my plane to the end of my line. I want it off the page. So I'm going to do it right here. I'm going to get my free transform tool again, and I'm going to rotate it so that it's kind of facing the right direction. Okay. Now what we're going to do is insert a classic tween. So we're going to right click here on the plane, create classic tween. If this pops up, click don't show again, and then click OK. Okay, so right now you can see it is not following the path. And there could be multiple reasons for that. It could be that the line is broken. One way you can see is try moving it. And still not following, so maybe it's somewhere back here. Well, it wasn't even on the path then. So now you can see it is following the path, right? But the only problem is, I still want this off the page a little more, is that it's kind of not going the right direction, right? So here it's just kind of moving similar. So what we want to do is, again, with our plane layers selected, our plane selected, we're going to go to where it says frame. Okay, so up here, click frame, and we're going to check this orient to path. Okay, so when you check that, you can see now it should be moving the way your path is moving, and it should be going the right direction. It gets a little funky right here. I'm gonna click on my path again, and I'm just gonna see if I could fix that, and if not, I'm not really gonna worry about it. I fixed it. Okay. So play that, see how it goes. It looks pretty decent. Okay, if there's anywhere that he starts getting off, and this is not a very good example because he's following the path pretty well. But sometimes he might be moved in a different direction than what the path is. So maybe like right here, I want him to be straight instead of kind of going up again. So all you have to do to change the direction is come to that frame that you want to change, insert a keyframe, and then you can get your transform tool and you can rotate him the direction that you want him to go. So, but that is going to change how the other one is, because sometimes your line, sometimes it just kind of gets off. But if you don't have that problem, then that's all you have to do. Okay, so we'll go ahead and export that as an animated GIF. Choose where you're going to save that. Okay, and then we'll go on to the next one. So this one, we are going to use the pen tool. Now, if you have problems with the pen tool, then you're free to use the pencil tool. I'm going to have my car drive on this side of the road, okay? So I'm going to go to my path layer, and I'm going to grab my pen tool. And I'm going to show you how I do this. So I'm going to start off the stage, and kind of like, I'm going to split the curves up like in half. So this is a long curve. You could try to do it in one whole thing, okay? If that works for you, that's good, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm just clicking and dragging. I'm going to come over here, click and drag. If it starts looking funny like that, just undo it, Control Z. And then you want to click back on this point. And again, you can try to do that if that works for you. Leave that there. So I'm clicking and dragging. I'm going to come back to this point. I'm going to come maybe right here, click and drag for the next curve. Come back to this point. Click and drag for this one. Come back to the point. Click and drag. Come back to that point, and then I'm ending it right here. Okay. Then you can get your sub selection tool. And sometimes you can, if you need to, you can edit these little handlebars if it's not quite lining up the way you want it to. But if not, I would just leave them alone, honestly. Okay, so you have that. Remember, we're going to turn that into a guide. So right click on the path and click guide. We're going to click on our car layer, move it up to where this shows, and that's going to sync the car. So now with our car selected, with the selection tool, we're going to move our car somewhere on this line. There's that dot. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and rotate that the way the road is turning. Last one we did on 60. I'm going to try 55, maybe make it a little faster. And I'm going to insert a keyframe on all of these. Again, I held shift to select those. Insert a keyframe. On my car layer, I'm going to move my car with the selection tool to the other end. And I'm going to rotate that. Make sure that dot is lined up on that line. You'll right click anywhere on the timeline here of the car layer and create classic tween. Don't show again, click OK. So right now something must be off as it's not syncing, so I'm going to zoom in as it's kind of hard to see. It looks like the car is touching the line there, so let's look at the other side. Okay, there we go. So you can see right now it is following the path, but it's not going the right way. So we need to orient to path again. So select your car with the selection tool. You'll go to frame here at the top and orient to path. Okay, so now let's see how it's gonna play. Okay, so it's better, but it's not perfect, right? So I'm gonna follow this along, and when it kind of starts getting off directions, like right here, I'm gonna insert a keyframe. I'm gonna get my free transform tool, and I'm gonna rotate it kind of to guide it back on the path. Right here, it should be turning, but it's not, so I'm gonna click right here, insert keyframe, and turn it a little bit that way. And right here it gets a little off, so I'm going to insert a keyframe, rotate it a little more that way. And right here, insert a keyframe, rotate it back. Starts getting off a little bit right here again, insert keyframe. Insert keyframe. And a lot of times this just has to do with your line and how it was drawn. End up having to do all of these here in the end. Okay, so let's see. Okay. And then that's it for that one once you get it going. And then that's all. So you'll export that one as an animated GIF also. Click save. Know where you're saving that at. And then to turn it in, you'll turn in both of those files. So make sure you attach both files to turn in, and then that's it.